Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Emmanuel Memga Udendi, Benue Northeast. I stand to second the motion as moved by distinguished Senator Wadada. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Announcement. No. Sorry, you don't have any announcement. Any petition? Senator Sita.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Senator Engineer Ochitangu. I represent the good and peaceful people of Enugu West Senatorial Zone. Mr. President, I have a petition here written by the Eke Progressives Forum. Eke is a town in the local government area within Enugu West in Enugu State. But Mr. President, before I proceed with the details of the petition, may I humbly remind this 10th Senate that Professor Senator Ike Ekweremadu, a 5-term Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a 3-term Deputy Senate President, is, as of today, 378 days in a foreign land. It is a burden to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and a burden to the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President. Let me proceed with the petition. The petition is about an unwarranted killing and attack on the Neighborhood Watch, community vigilante, by the Nigerian Army in Eke. This happened on July 29, 2023, where 3 soldiers opened fire at close range to about 6 community vigilantes. I may wish to proceed with reading the petition directly. This petition is addressed to the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through the Senator representing Enugu West Senatorial Zone, Senator Ositangu.
I think you just need to give a brief summary. I think you have done that. Is there any legal action in respect to that? Is there any legal action? Has they gone to court? You may submit the petition to the table. Submit your permission. The Senate Leader, can you please introduce the order of the day? The first order of the day, please. Okay. Sorry, the petition will be referred to the Committee on Public Petitions when it is constituted. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Izunaso Osita on the urgent need to carry out remedial work on Oboduku, Uruala, Akokwa, Umu Maisiaku, Umuchina, and Umueshi Gully erosion sites in Idiato North and Idiato South local government areas of Imo State. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Izunaso Osita to move the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Izunaso, you may wish to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Osita Izunaso. I represent the people of Imo West. Mr. President, the motion is on the urgent need to carry out remedial work on Oboduku, Uruala, Akaokwa, Omomisiako, Umuchima, and Umueshigole erosion sites in Idato North and South local governments of Imo State. Mr. President, the Senate is invited to note that the total collapse of Oboduku, Uruala, Akaokwa, Omomisiako, Umuchima, Umueshigole erosion site in Idato North and South local governments of Imo State, and that the gullies and floodwaters have become treacherous, which recently led to the loss of human lives, properties worth over 4 billion, and inflicted several injuries on indigents of those communities. Mr. President, the Senate also notes that the economic impact of the continuous loss of lives, businesses, and properties of individuals, NGOs, and government agencies, as flood is burying them under debris day by day. Mr. President, we want the Senate also observe that the total number of affected communities are 12, and that the 2 local governments we are talking about here shares border with Anambra State, Enugu State, and Abia State, and those states are also equally affected. Concerned that these gullies and floodwaters are now beyond the Imo State government, hence the need for federal government's presence and urgency to undertake immediate remedial actions to mitigate the risk and prevent further loss of lives, properties, and environmental degradation in the affected areas. And the Senate is aware that by taking immediate action and working together, we can protect lives, preserve our communities' well-being, and build a safer and more resilient future. Accordingly, resolve to urge the Ecological Fund Office and National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to jointly and urgently engage relevant experts, including geologists, hydrologists, and environmental engineers, to conduct assessment and implement measures such as slow stabilization, gabion installations, terracing, revegetation, and construction of retaining walls to prevent further loss and minimize the risk to nearby infrastructure, communities, local governments, and states. 2, also urge NEMA to urgently implement a community resettlement plan where necessary to relocate residents from high-risk areas, providing them with adequate housing, livelihood support, and necessary amenities. Further urge NEMA and EFO to establish community-based initiatives to enhance resilience, such as emergency response team, evacuation plans, and the formation of local task forces focused on disaster management, outlining the achieved milestones, challenges encountered, and plan for future action every 4 weeks. And finally, commend the Imo State government on its quick response and intervention, which saved some lives and reclaimed many properties. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Victor, you may wish to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent the good people of Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, this motion is a very important and critical motion. The menace of erosion in the southeast region generally is very horrendous. These communities mentioned by my distinguished brother, Senator Steve Nassau, like he mentioned in his motion paper, they lie in the border between Imo State and Anambra State. Right now, so many buildings are collapsing in the different erosion sites in the southeast geopolitical zone, particularly along this belt, Imo West Senatorial District, Anambra South Senatorial District, Anambra Central Senatorial District, and other places. The havoc which landslide and flood erosion are wreaking to the communities involved are quite enormous. So, Mr. President, I rise to second this motion because it requires urgent and timely intervention of the relevant agencies of government to address them. As I speak here, Mr. President, there is a section in Anambra State around Oba, in Idemili South local government, where the erosion is already cutting the federal highway into two, near the Rojeni tourist game village. And it's only by urgent action through this type of motion that the relevant agencies of government's attention will be drawn to these sites so that to prevent further loss of lives and properties. So I sincerely support this motion in terms of the prayers and everything put together here. And I will urge our colleagues to bear this in mind, that erosion is a very huge problem in our geopolitical zone, and we seek your support and intervention through this motion. Maybe further, as we go on, we may be able to bring other specific terrible threatening sites to the attention of the Senate. So I support this with all amount of seriousness. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Distinguished senators, we have a similar motion, I think one or two here. I don't think we need to extend, we should put time in having so much contributions. Maybe have one more contribution and then we move to the next motion, because we have similar motions here. Someone was saying that we can even consolidate them, but we said we should allow this to go today. So by tomorrow, if you have this kind of a similar motion, there's a need we put them together so that we have a sponsor or co-sponsors, in order not to take much of a very viable time. Senator Ezenwa, you can just give a brief contribution, then we'll put the question.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ezenwa Onyewuchi, and I represent Imo East Senatorial District. Mr. President, I just want to lend my voice to this motion by distinguished Senator Osita Izunaso. Mr. President, the issue of gully erosion is one threatening a lot of communities, but I'm making this contribution because some of the communities mentioned here, the issue of gully erosion boils down to existential issue. And I think it needs a very urgent intervention by the federal government. Some of these roads are very important strategic economic roads, and the communities have been entirely cut off. Some of these communities also serve as gateway to other states. So, Mr. President, I think this is an issue to be considered very seriously, and it needs the urgent intervention of the federal government. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We may go to prayers because there isn't time. Well, I have said it is something that we have several feet here. So allowing time for contribution will, but as a deputy leader, I can say no to you. So just give a brief contribution so that we can go to prayers.
Mr. President of Senate, In supporting this motion, I needed to make my personal contribution. My personal contribution, Mr. President, is that there is no senator in his or her constituency that doesn't have this kind of intervention. It's very important. But in this consideration, if it must have the weight of implementation, there are a lot of consideration, this thing in the budget, are we invoking the powers of the budget for the implementation? Is it going to be a new project, and so on and so forth? So it is important that this kind of motion, that is affecting almost all the constituencies, be consolidated. And in consolidating them, we should have the empirical, data, vis-a-vis the budgeting, vis-a-vis the status of such projects, so that it can be dealt with, once and for all. And I think almost all the senators will be sponsors and co-sponsors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That is noted. So we now move to the prayers. Prayer 1. Urge the Ecological Fund Office and the National Emergency Management Agency to jointly and urgently engage relevant experts, including geologists, hydrogeologists, and environmental engineers, to conduct the assessment and implement measures such as slope stabilization, gabion installations, terracing, revegetation, and construction of retaining walls to prevent further losses and minimize the risks to nearby infrastructure, communities, local governments, and states. Those in favor of these prayers say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Also urge NEMA to urgently implement a community resettlement plan where necessary to relocate residents from high-risk areas, providing them with adequate housing, livelihood, support, and necessary amenities. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Further, urge NEMA and EFO to establish community-based initiatives to enhance resilience, such as emergency response teams, evacuation plans, and the formation of local task forces focused on disaster management, outlining the achieved milestones, challenges encountered, and plans for further actions every 4 weeks. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Commend the Imo State government in quick response to intervention, which saved some lives and reclaimed many properties. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Sulaiman A. Kawu Sumaila on the urgent need to reverse the concessioning of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Sulaiman A. Kawu Sumaila to move the motion.
Senator Kawu Sumaila, may you wish to move your motion.
I am Suleiman Ekau Sumaila OFR, representing Kano South Senatorial District, Mr. President from Kano. Mr. President, my dear distinguished colleague, I am here to present a motion urging the need to reverse the concession of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano. The Senate notes that the Federal Executive Council on 17th May 2023 approves the concession of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, for 30 years to Messrs. American Airport Consortium. Aware that the Federal Ministry of Aviation does not own or run any airport in Nigeria, and that by the dictate of the Governing Act of the Federal Airport Authority Fund, ownership and management of the all federal airport are fully vested in the authority. Also aware that the ICRC procedure document states with respect to the agency that wish to concession a facility that the public entity should have enabling authority to transfer its responsibility, enabling legislative and policy framework or an administrative order to that effect. Reflect that from the combined import of the Fund Act and the ICRC Procedure Manual is an evident manifestation that the entire airport concession is based on an incurable faulty foundation. For there is no doubt that it is the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria Fund, not the Ministry of Aviation, that has the power to transfer its responsibility to a would-be concessionaire. It is also Fund, not the Ministry, which has the requisite legislative and policy framework for such. Convinced that if the claim that is a fake, Federal Executive Council has approved the concession of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport has any substance, then the fake has indeed been misguided in its decision, and that action cannot amount to anything than a nullity. Worried about that, the rationale in borrowing and spending public money to upgrade the airport only to hand it over to foreign businesses for a period of 30 years in the name of concession. Alarms that Nigeria is receiving concession fee or upfront payment of $1.5 million, less than $2 billion, while the total amount of money that the Kano Airport is acquiring to government is $97.4 million US. Disturbs that this concession is clearly dubious and the rise question on the process and what the actors stand to gain. Recall that the unions in the aviation industry embark on strike to question the integrity of the concession exercise, stressing that the concession of the airport away from PAN will necessarily cause or halt the employment of the staff involuntarily. Worried that the concession by the last administration raised a fundamental question of injustice on why and a such project with a huge public investment will take place just at the end of administration, just 12 days to the expiration of the constitutional days of the administration. Observe that the faulty gaps inherent in the concession will lead to RE of lawsuit and thereby embarrassing the current administration. Mr. President, accordingly, I am urging this Senate to condemn in strong terms the concession of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport as it was done, and it was not done in public interest. Urge the federal government to immediately cancel, reverse, and revoke the concession of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, and urge the federal government to, if need be, review the entire exercise and give a level playing field to all stakeholders. I so submit, Mr. President.
Senator Abdul Ningi, maybe to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, let me commend from the onset the mover of this very, very important motion for coming up with this very strong legislative, curable parliamentary powers. Mr. President, this motion in itself defines and summarizes the kind of country we are in. It summarizes the culture of lawlessness, impunity, man inhumanity to himself, greed, and pure corruption. Mr. President, look at the date, 17th May 2023, just a few days to the termination of the Buhari administration. And forgive my assertion of Buhari administration. I don't mean to condemn the party, but I said it is unbelievable that the airport, an airport of this nature, almost as old as this country, first, of course, in the history of this country, that some people can just come up and a federal executive council fully constituted and approve this mindless contract. Concession, what is concession? And why do we concede? Why do you concede? You do it because of some parameters laid. But this particular concession was done in a dubious manner, in a manner that begets any imagination. Mr. President, you look at the act. Look at the FAA Act. It is them that should advise. It is them that that will undertake. And because the Act provides them where they cannot meet up with their technical responsibilities, they can now invite by the Federal Ministry of Aviation.
Former leader, Senator Abdul Ningi, you need to be brief because there are several senators who want to speak. One more minute.
Mr. President, this parliament should not continue to allow this executive recklessness to continue to undo this nation. Enough is enough. This contract needs to be, this concession needs to be investigated, and then urgently let's have a report. And anybody that is found wanting must be brought to justice. Thank you.
Senator Adam Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adam Alero is my name. I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, let me equally start by commending Senator
Samail Lakau, for bringing this very important motion. Kano Airport is the premier airport. In fact, it used to be the only airport that served the entire northern part of the country. For it to be concession in such hazard manner, without following due process, certainly it is a dubious process. Instead of asking the federal government to revoke the concession, I would want us to set up an ad hoc committee by this Senate that will investigate the circumstances under which the Kano Airport was concessioned. And if it is not done in line with the laid down procedure of the Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission, that concession should be revoked. I think this is what we should do in order to save public funds. Mr. President, not only Kano Airport. I recall when the whole concessioning of the 4 airports started in 2018, Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and I think Port Harcourt. The farm workers, their union, decided to embark on indefinite strike. And because of that, the minister stopped the concessioning. So I wonder, at the tip end of the administration, at the tail end of the administration, just 3, 4, or 5 weeks to the end of the tenure of the last 6 days to the last tenure of the administration. And this concession was pushed to the Federal Executive Council. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to assure you that the Federal Executive Council did not do due diligence in approving this concession. And since due diligence has not been done, we should investigate the circumstances, as I said earlier. And that's my case, Mr. President.
The Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues.
And please, because so many senators want to contribute, everyone is given will be given 2 minutes to bear his mind. Please, Chief Whip.
Thank you, sir. My contribution is just going to be more of just guiding the Senate on these issues that are coming up. There are so many of them. So many things have been done wrong in the outgoing or the previous administration. And that was because the government was almost personalized and privatized. And so people took advantage of the former president's, should I say, person. Now, that is not it. Please don't politicize this matter. It's not issue. Don't politicize it. In fact, if it is executive, if it is executive.
Chief Whip, you are protected. You have the floor. Continue.
All these things started during PDP. So let's not go there, please. What I'm saying,
Chief Whip, you are protected, Chief Whip. You can continue.
let us consolidate these issues because there are many. It is not only Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, but all concessions done hurriedly and without following due process should be thoroughly investigated, reversed, and actions taken about it. So let's do that consolidation, as distinguished Senator Alero said, and maybe we should look at a committee with experts involved to look at all these hurriedly made concessions and privatization so that it can be reversed. Because some people are waiting for government to invest $100 million and then they take that organization for $1 million or pay back $1 million. So I'm suggesting that we should not only talk about Aminu Kano International Airport, but all concessions done, especially at the tail end of the previous administration, should be looked into by a committee. That is my submission.
Senator Jim Kuta, 2 minutes.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is David Esu Jim Kuta, representing the good people of Taraba South. Mr. President, I want to add my voice to what Senator Kao Samela, the motion that he brought, and what my elder brother Ali Ndume said. Like me, I have personal issue on this because my state too is affected. The Kashimbila Dam, that the multi-purpose dam that was built for so many years, millions of dollars have been spent. The same thing like that, few days to the end of the former administration, the same thing happened. So, Mr. President, that is something. Water resources, Ministry of Aviation, the two people mislead the Executive Council. So, me, I want to go straight to the point. They have to invite them to come and explain, because in aviation, the fraudulent act is too much. You can see what happened with the Emirates airline. You can see how Nigerians now suffer to travel business class for 6 hours. They pay more than 2 million naira for an economy class, all in aviation. Mr. President, I think the committee is needed at this time, outward committee, and to thoroughly do their work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. This is a very good motion, and it's something that we must give some kind of seriousness to it. Concession in business terms is very good. It's a good way of making the operational activities of whichever institution is concessioned to be functional. But in our own case, international best practices are thrown to the gutter. If we look at Kano International Airport, in the last 2-3 years, and then compare it to what happened within the last weeks of the exit of the former administration, you will understand what I'm talking about. There are so many airports, like the Mina International Airport has been abandoned for almost 11 years. And so many other airports like that. But if you have seen within the last 2-3 weeks of the exit of the last administration, you will see the kind of work, the kind of job being done at Aminu Kano International Airport. That portends that there's something that we need to know. And then when you look at it from the aspect of investment, when a nation is making over $990-something million per annum, and then you concession that very large hub airport for $1-something million, collecting $1-something million, is criminal. It's criminal. So for me, I think there is need for us as a Senate to call on the federal government to direct for complete evaluation of this concession and to know what are the terms of...
Chief Whip, you need to keep chamber silent. Chief Whip.
Point of order.
Order what? Order what? Senator Kauswela. Sorry? Oh. What order? What order? Order 24.
If you checked into the gap,
Read the order.
seat in the Senate, one. Then when you go to B, one of the function or one of the duties of the chief whips is to manage the affair of his party during meeting and organize the party members in division and debate and arrange, maintain order and decorum in the Senate. Maintain the order and decorum in the Senate.
No. Chief Whip, well, it's noted, but Chief Whip, you have to read the order again, please. Thank you. Your order is sustained.
Yes, it's the same point of order.
Order. What order is that?
As he rightly said, sir, the duty of the chief whip is to maintain order and decorum in the Senate. That was exactly what I was doing with the opposition.
I like that.
Chief Whip, thank you. Thank you, Chief Whip, for doing your job properly. The Senate is part of you.
Mr. President, to conclude, if you look at Aminu Kano International Airport and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport that were said to be concessioned, they are part of the functional airports we have in this country that generates a lot of revenue, generates a lot of employment for Nigerians. Handing it over to companies that we do not even know, there were no transparency in the processes that brought to the concessioning. I think the Senate has a responsibility to look at that in-depthly so that we can avoid what happened in the power sector where we were tied to an agreement that by the time Nigeria want to exit that agreement, we will spend more than what we will have even generated and then giving out to Nigerians as revenue, and then getting revenue from Nigerians. So with this, I believe that there is need. This motion is very important. We should hold that concession in and then see where we can make our airports, especially those that have been abandoned, to be functional. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Rufai Sainhanga, Kano Central, where the airport is situated.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would first of all like to commend my brother, Senator Kawu Sumela, for this very important motion. Mr. President, I'm from Kano. I know Kano Airport serves the entire West Africa. Kano Airport was a pioneer airport in Nigeria. And the airport, when you visit it, you will see that there's nothing to write home about because the tarmacs are not adequate enough to even accommodate some of the international flights. That's why many international flights stopped using the airport. Mr. President, it is very worrying that while the airport is making a lot of money is accruing to the federal government, about 100 million per annum, they concessioned the airport at $1 million. That one is mind-boggling. That is one. Two, is typical of the aviation ministry in this country. We've all heard of what happened with the Nigeria Airways and so on and so forth. So naturally, these people are like that. Like my colleague said, what they did is criminal, and I'm sure it is. Secondly, Mr. President, reversing or revoking this concession is not a new thing because Ajakuta was concessioned and it is reversed and revoked, and the concessionaires were paid back their monies. So I think, Mr. President, we have to do something very urgently, because this concessionaire, I'm sure, will use the airport and this amount accrues to him per annum, but I'm sure he will not undertake to build another terminal like we need in Kano, and I'm sure he will never spend his money to improve the airport. And the situation of the airport, in fact, we are worried about it because even cargo flights that were flying every now and then, they've stopped. So the airport is almost killed, Mr. President. And we want it reversed so that the federal government can do something about the airport so that it comes back to its former position, being number one airport in Nigeria, servicing the West Africa region. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I commend my brother Kawu for this very important motion. Thank you very much, my colleagues.
Distinguished senators, I think we've gotten so many contributions to this motion. Even though I know so many senators want to contribute, because of time, we still have other motions that we need to debate. So I think we should move straight to the prayers. Prayer 1. Condemn in strong terms the concessioning of the Malang Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, as it was not done in public interest. Amendment. And please, in moving a motion for amendment, we should go straight to that motion, and then we'll have a seconder. That is a practice.
Mr. President, I am Mohammed Nanjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central. I move to amend the prayer number 1 to read as follows. Condemn in strong terms the concessioning of Malang Aminu Kano International Airport and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, as it was not done in public interest. I saw.
Any seconder? Any seconder? Senator Adebalero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adebalero is my name. I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, I move to second the motion, heavily moved by distinguished Senator Mohammed Najim Bagoji, that the Senate should condemn in strong terms the concessioning of Malang Aminu Kano International Airport and all other airports that were concessioned in the same way. I so second.
Well,
Mr. President,
please, no. Please, any seconder of the motion that was moved by Senator Nanjuma Goje, a seconder. No, you have moved. You have moved already. No, you have moved. We've got it. We've gotten it. Clark, you are listening, right? A seconder, direct seconder. No, you can't amend his motion. Senator Binos, can you second the motion, please?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the amendment as proposed by distinguished Senator Nanjuma Goje, that we condemn in strong terms the concessioning of the Malang Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, as it was not done in public interest. I so second.
Favor. Excuse me. Please, Senator Binos, can you please say, I second the motion ably moved by Senator Nanjuma Goje, so that there won't be any ambiguity.
This is what he said.
That's a motion. No, you have no. If you have your own, you can raise your own. So allow his own to.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do rise to second the amendment as proposed by distinguished Senator Danjuma Goje. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Binos. He did. Okay. Can you please say your names?
So,
Name. Say your name. Senator Binos, can you sit down? You said it. You said it. Sit down. You said it. You said it. We heard it. You said it. Please. Any other amendment, or we go to second prayer? We have done with that. We go to second prayer. Urge the federal government. Prayer 2, please. Urge the federal government to immediately cancel and reverse the concessioning of the Malang Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Amendment. Senator Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Karimi Sunday. I represent Kogi West. My amendment, Mr. President, is that before we call for cancellation.
Can you please move your motion? Just go straight to your motion. We have done with debates. I'm done with the debate, please.
Aviation, when constituted, should immediately investigate the concessioning of Aminu Kano International Airport and other airport, and report back to the Senate before we talk of it.
That should be additional prayer. That should be additional prayer. Amendment on prayer 2. Karimi, when we come to additional prayer, you can add it as additional prayer.
Mr. President, my name remains Engineer Mweze David Umai, representing Ebonyi South. Mr. President, the amendment I propose is that prayer 2 should be dropped in view of prayer 3.
Any seconder? Senator Zinaso.
My name is Senator Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. I rise to second the amendment as proposed by Senator Dave Umahi.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Okay. Additional prayer? Okay, prayer 3. Also urge the federal government to, if need be, review the entire exercise and give a level playing field to all stakeholders. Senator Tambuwal. Oh.
Tambuwal, Sokoto South. Which will now be prayer 2, and to rephrase it by deleting if need be, to read thus: also urge the federal government to review the entire exercise and give a level playing field to all stakeholders. I so submit.
Seconder? Distinguished Yari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Abdulaziz Abu Karayari, representing Zamfara West. I stand to second the motion Parliamentary Prayer 3 as moved by Senator Amin Waziri Tambol. I second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayers. Senator Wadada.
My additional prayer is that before we go for condemnation, there is...
Senator Wadada. Senator Wadada, you go straight to the motion, please.
When we are calling for condemnation, revocation or cancellation of this concession as a Senate, we should go from the angle of information. And it is only...
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. A seconder, please. Seconder? Seconder to the motion? Your motion is dead on arrival. No seconder. Are you seconder? Okay, go ahead. Senator President.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Rufai Hanga, representing Kano Central. I second the motion ably moved by Senator Odada that we invite the ministry investigate. Sorry, fund and the agencies. We invite fund and the agencies investigate and oral.
Senator Rufai Sanhanga, just second the motion, because if you go to give details, your secondment may fail.
Ali Wadada. So I so second.
Say aye. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Senator Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President, my colleagues. My name is Karimi Sunday. I represent Kogi West. My additional motion is that we should call an additional prayer that we call on the Committee on Aviation, when constituted, to investigate the concessioning of Malam Aminu Airport and other airports, so as to advise the Senate and the government as necessary, and to report back within a certain, maybe.
Senator Darlington, you want a second? Yes, I want a second. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President and dear colleagues. My name remains Darlington Mwokocha. I speak for Abia Central. I'm from Abia State. Mr. President, I want to second.
Okay. No. You can only second. Only second. You can amend this. You can second. If you no. You can't amend. You can only second. Just if you want to second, you second.
The prayer is moved by Senator Karimi. I hereby second.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by Senator Karimi say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Central. My additional prayer is that we refer this to be investigated by the Committee on Aviation and Committee on Privatization and BPP when constituted.
Relevant committees.
Yeah, no, these three are the relevant committees.
Well, those in favor of the amendment say aye. Seconder, please. Seconder. Nobody? Nobody. I'm sorry, nobody. So, so thank you. Let me thank you very much, Senator Kao Sumaila, for bringing forward this motion. The motion is widely accepted, going by those who contributed and those who are willing to contribute, but for lack of time. Let me say concessioning is what is in vogue all over the world as we speak, because government is not a good manager of businesses. I can remember even Heathrow Airport has been concessioned even to a Nigerian, and the airport is doing very well, but in a very transparent and open manner. Well, let's not put the cart before the horse. We allowed relevant committees as proposed, as adopted here, to investigate, to find out the truth about what is being alleged. And I think we shouldn't throw the baby with the bathwater. After everything has been investigated, it is still my belief that we should go on the path of concessioning, because this is what is in vogue all over the world. You can imagine that a Nigerian is one that has been, who is now running Heathrow Airport, and is doing very well. The airport is doing very well. In fact, they're even going into expansion. The airport is being expanded and more better than the way it used to be before. It was the airport was concessioned to him. So let's not throw the baby with bathwater. What we are calling for is due diligence to be applied. And once there's a transparent process, then we should allow concessioning to be. So thank you very much, Senator Kao Sumela, and those who have contributed. Thank you. The Senate Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The third order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Adams Oshiomhole on the deplorable state of Bini Ekpoma Auchi Okene Road and the urgent need for government to mobilize contractors to site. However, he indicated that he needed to be somewhere urgently. So, Mr. President, we will need to step down this for the next order of the day on our motion paper. Yes.
We can go to the next motion.
So, in that regard, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Aliyu Ahmed Wadada and distinguished Senator Kingibe Ireti Heba on the urgent need to stem the tide of illegal motor parks and pick-up points within Abuja metropolis. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Aliyu Ahmed Wadada to move the motion.
Senator Aliyu Ahmed Wadada, the horse rider, you may wish to move your motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, Sarkin Yakin Kefi, representing Nasarawa West Senatorial District of Nasarawa State, and I still remain a horse rider. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the importance of this motion cannot be overemphasized, because before I go into the literature of the motion as contained in the other paper, one of the cardinal motives on why the seat of government in Nigeria.
Senator Wadada, move your motion and read as is in the other paper. That is the practice here. Please, can you do that?
Anyway, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate notes that by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, the National Assembly is constitutionally empowered to legislate for the Federal Capital Territory. Also, note that Cap F6 LFN 2004 created the Federal Capital Territory to be managed by the Federal Capital Territory Administration, which is divided into several departments, under which there are VIO, other Transport Secretariat, Abuja Environmental Protection Board, and so on. The Senate aware that the Federal Capital Territory is
Senator, now, what order? Sorry? Order 10. You may read the order, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Ogoshi Onao. I represent Nasarawa South from Nasarawa State. Order 10. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without a notice a motion declaring that a contempt or a breach of privilege has been committed. Sir, on the order paper, the majority leader has moved that order 3 be stepped down because the proposer of the motion is not around. But Mr. President has not ruled that it should be stepped down. So as far as I'm concerned, it's still subsistent in today's order. Mr. President has to rule that it has to be stepped down, or else we are going to leave this hall without this thing.
Well, I did, except you want us to. I did. I said it. Maybe you didn't hear. Probably you were. I did. Okay. You want to hear the gavel? Okay. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. It shows you are very. Thank you very much. And continue, Senator Wadada.
Very interesting. Nasarawa on the floor, Nasarawa putting the floor in order. The Senate aware that the Federal Capital Territory is perhaps the fastest growing city in Africa, with the influx of people from all parts of the nation, thereby putting pressure on existing facilities and causing increased vehicular traffic as people have come from all walks of life to seek greener pasture. Concerned that even though the Abuja Master Plan has designated motor parks and garages for pickups and drop-offs of passengers, transporters in the Federal Capital Territory have formed the terrible habit of picking up and dropping off passengers indiscriminately, and also parking at non-designated parking zones on the highway, thereby causing unnecessary traffic and congestion and also accidents on the highway. Worried that if the illegal pickups and drop-off points indiscriminately at non-designated parking zones are not controlled or eliminated, it may, in addition to causing accidents, become a serious security threat and concern in the FCT. Further concern that if the creation of illegal garages and pickup/drop-off points is or are not curtailed, it will remain an avenue of leakage in revenue generation for the FCT administration. Further worried that these illegal pickups and drop-off points may become impediments to easy commuting of essential service vehicles such as fire service, ambulance, police, etc., to access points where their services may be urgently needed, and also worried that this traffic indiscipline is becoming an acceptable norm for these offenders. Accordingly, resolves to urge the FCT administration, the VIO, Federal Road Safety Commission, and other relevant agencies to immediately commence a joint task force to step up activities to eradicate these illegal garages and pick up or drop-off points within the Federal Capital City. And also urge the joint task force to always enforce the penalty for the creation of illegal garages within the Federal Capital City. With the understanding of my co-sponsor, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
Thank you, the House Rider. Madam, call on Senator Ireti Kingibe to second the motion.
My name is Mr. President. It's representing the Federal Capital Territory. And I second the motion presented by Senator Aliyu Wadada. I would also like to add that FCT, being the policy capital of the nation, the seat of government, and the face of Nigeria, it is important that these things are taken care of urgently. There are provisions for parks in the master plan, and those things should be immediately restored. So I so second.
Thank you, distinguished. This motion is direct to the point. I don't think we need too much debate. Okay, well, Issa Ochocha, being a neighbor to the FCT, since you are from Kogi, can we hear from you, and then we go to the prayers?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East. Mr. President, I just want to lend my voice that apart from the revenue generation at the motor parks, the essence of having motor parks is also to allow ease of tracking of these motorists in case of theft and in case of accidents and other unforeseen circumstances. So I believe that the illegal motor parks should be scrapped immediately, and any of the motorists that that does not go with the rules of the game, that is parking at where they are supposed to park, there should be appropriate sanctions that will act as deterrent, okay, to erring motorists. That is my submission.
Thank you very much. Senator Abaribe, just 2 minutes so that we can
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Naya Abaribe. I represent Abia South. It's just to point out to the mover of the motion and also the seconder that the Senate is actually the House of Assembly of the FCT. And rather than make a motion, that our job actually is to make all the bylaws for the FCT, and therefore it behooves on all of us
and the movers of this motion, in addition to this, to also come up with the bylaws for the FCT, which we will pass on this floor.
Thank you, one of the elders of these hallowed chambers, Senator Abaribi. Your words or your contribution are always full of wisdom. Thank you for that contribution. Can we go straight to the prayers? Prayer 1. Urge the FCT administration, the VIO, FRSC, and other relevant agencies to immediately commence a joint task force to step up activities to eradicate these illegal garages and pick up and drop off points within the federal capital city. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Also urge the joint task force to always enforce the penalty for the creation of illegal garages within the federal capital city. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Wadada and Senator Ireti Kingibe for bringing up this motion. In fact, it's an eyesore, what we see every day in Abuja, where everywhere has been turned to garage, not befitting our capital city, which is the symbol, number one symbol of this country. It is the pride of all of us. A wonderfully crafted city, but being messed up by the sights we see every day along our roads. And I think the FCT committee, when constituted, should be able to do its oversight function properly, because these are things, these are kind of things that the standing committee, the FCT committee, can do to eradicate by putting pressure on the FCT administration to do what they are supposed to do by way of making sure that we have a befitting city that we can all be proud of. And the suggestion put forward by Senator Abaribi should also be followed. I think when we're able to combine these two factors together, we'll be able to have a city, our capital city, that can we all be proud of. It's a wonderful city, but the problem is that it's been messed up by some people. So thank you very much for this motion, and I call on the leader, the leader, please.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Aniekan Bassi on the need to investigate the controversial makeup gas processing deal involving the Federal Ministry of Finance, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Calabar Generation Company Limited, and Akugas Limited. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Aniekan Bassi to move the motion.
Senator Aniekan Bassi, you may wish to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. The President's upstanding is Senator Aniekan Bassi, speaking for Akwa Ibom Northeast. Mr. President, the motion is on the need to investigate the controversial makeup gas reprocessing deal involving the Federal Ministry of Finance, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Calabar Generation Company Limited, and Akugas. Distinguished colleagues, recall that the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, a company owned by the federal, state, and local governments in Nigeria to hold and manage
Nigerians Independent Power Project. Sometime in 2017, entered into a gas supply agreement with Akugas Limited for the supply of gas to the Calabar Generation Company Limited, Calabar Genco, a subsidiary of NDPHC. Recalls also that under the said GSA, the federal government of Nigeria is obliged to pay over $10 million monthly to Akugas Limited, and this monthly obligation was protected and secured with a take or pay clause, implying that the monthly payment of over $10 million must be discharged unfailingly by the federal government, whether the Calabar Genco takes delivery of gas or not. Note that the discharge of this take or pay obligation by the federal government has become a major concern to all well-meaning Nigerians because of its huge burden on public treasury, as huge sums of money were paid to Akugas for gas not received or utilized by Calabar Genco. Also note that in a bid to get Nigeria out of this controversial take or pay cul-de-sac and put in place an agreement to reprocess and redirect the gas for which Nigeria has paid but not utilized over time, the then Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, initiated a make-up gas mug reprocessing deal involving Calabar Genco and Akugas Limited. Further observe that the controversial mug deal was devoid of transparency and allegedly involved the payment of huge sums as fees to the transaction advisors, even when Akugas Limited was reportedly discussing the extension of the sunset date for the utilization of the mug without the involvement of paid consultants or transaction advisors, with an addendum to the JSA already signed between the parties. Further concerned that if the Senate does not investigate the circumstances under which the JSA and mug were executed by the federal government with Akugas Limited, these transactions will constitute an endless drain on scarce public funds, which should have been applied towards the execution of other pressing government projects. I pray the Senate to currently resolve that, 1, mandate the Committee on Power, when constituted, to investigate the circumstances under which the gas supply agreement and make-up gas reprocessing arrangement were executed. The party involved, payment so far made to entities to date, the status of implementation of GSA, and for those purpose, invite all stakeholders to the transaction, including the immediate past Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, Akugas Limited, Calabar Genco, the transaction advisor engaged under the mock deal, and to report back within 2 weeks. Prayer number 2, we urge the federal government, particularly the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, to ensure due diligence in the preparation and execution of transaction agreement with companies and other investors to avoid the ugly scenario government is facing under the gas supply agreement, Akugas Limited and several other entities. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any seconder? You can go ahead.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Ethan Williams. I represent Cross River Central. I so second the motion as moved by Senator Bassi. Thank you.
No nobody wants to contribute? Okay. Well, can we, Senator Abbas, you want to contribute? Go ahead.
Mr. President, I am Senator Aminu Iya Abbas, FCA, Iya Adamawa, Lady Adamawa Central District. My contribution, Mr. President, on this issue is an issue that is very serious when you look at the take or buy agreement. It is an issue that involves huge sum of money from the federal government, and it's something that, if tackled, if we look into it, will help this country. $10 million is not a small money monthly that goes to whether the GENCO takes delivery of gas or not. That is one. Secondly, the issue of gas in Nigeria, we all know how shortage of gas and scarcity of gas is. So I think we need to look at this agreement in entirety between these three or four parties, to see if Nigeria is being shortchanged or not. And I support the removal of this motion in entirety, Mr. President. Thank you.
Samson Akpan.
I thank Mr. President for the privilege of being on the floor. My name is Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwebom South, the constituency with the longest shoreline.
Is there no Akpan in your name? Part of your name, right? So I'm right.
There is clearly merit in this motion as framed and canvassed by Senator Bassi. We all know the importance of the power sector in this country, and it is fitting that this Senate has adopted a corrective approach. That is very, very fitting, and it creates the type of confidence that we need as a legislature, our corrective posture. The issues raised here are very weighty, huge sums of money are involved, and it is very important that we exercise our investigative powers in a matter like this. So there's clearly merit in this motion, and I want to support the spirit that has driven this motion. It will do this country great good, and it situates clearly within the parameters of this 10th Senate as an investigative parliament. So I support that motion, and I believe that we are going to gain extensively from such an investigation. Thank you.
Senator Garba, after you, Senator Ningi. Go ahead. Senator Abdul Ningi.
Thank you very much, the Senate President, my distinguished colleague.
Senator Garba, KB South.
I rise to support this motion for any investigation that will show any either inadequacies of any agreement that the government has entered. But please, I also want to point out I've been a director of contract for NMPC. I want the distinguished members to know that gas contracts are signed upfront. Huge amount of investment is needed to process the gas to the quality that the GENCO will need. Without a make, take, or pay clause, the investment in oil and gas will likely be zero. We have, for all the NGL trains we did, we have the take or pay clause for 10 years before we start the NGL project. This is a project that will cost anywhere between $5 to $10 billion for one train. If you recall, sir, we have problem of shortage of gas in the country, and the government had given incentive that they want to subsidize gas production. If you go to Niger Delta, you see gas flaring everywhere. It's not because people don't know that the gas is useful, but the amount of resources required to process this gas to the form that it will be used is very huge. So we want to encourage private participation in the upstream oil and gas. These people are borrowing money from abroad to invest, and we should encourage them. If there are any infringement, yes, we should correct it, but please let's try and encourage our people without a make or pay, take or pay clause in most of our oil upstream contracts. Investment will be zero. So I support the motion that investigations should be done, but please let's encourage private companies to do the business of upstream oil and gas. I so submit, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Without any other contribution, I think we should go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Mandate the Committee on Power, when constituted, to investigate the circumstances under which the gas supply agreement, GSA, and make up gas reprocessing, MUG, arrangement was executed. The parties involved, payments so far made to entities to date, the status of implementation of the GSA, and for this purpose, invite all stakeholders to the transaction, including the immediate past Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Akugas Limited, Calabar Genco, the transaction advisors engaged under the MUG mock deal, and so on and so forth, and to report back within 2 weeks. Those in favor, well, leave them. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, we have passed that. You are a former chief whip of the House of Reps, so we have passed that. You can do that when we come to share prayers. Prayer 2. Urge the federal government, particularly the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, to ensure due diligence in the preparation and execution of transaction agreements with companies and other investors to avoid the ugly scenario government is facing under the gas supply agreement, Akugas Limited, and several other entities. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer. Mr. Mongono, the former chief whip of the House of Representatives.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Mongono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. My additional prayer is, instead of the immediate first Minister of Finance, my prayer 2 is the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, instead of the immediate first minister, because the minister didn't act in her personal capacity.
Senator Mohamed Mongono, you know we have dealt with this prayer, and to now go back to that, I think, well, we can allow you, since we are still But already we have dealt with this. Okay. Okay. Now, please phrase the prayer properly. Phrase the motion. Phrase the motion properly so that someone could support it.
Okay, thank you. My additional prayer is urge the immediate First Minister, urge the Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, then engage under the MUC deal and to report back within 2 weeks.
Senator Sani Musa, you want to second? Second. Well, it's up to you to either accept or reject the prayer. So if you don't, you say no. So, seconder, as far as a motion put forward and has the latitude to bring up the motion, so it's up to the Senate to either reject or accept the motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. I stand to second the motion as passed by distinguished Senator Mongonu that the Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Gas Limited, Calabar Genco, the transaction advisors engage under the MUG deal, etc., and to report back within 2 weeks. Because she's not acting on her own.
No, you have seconded the motion. Simple. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Senator Babangida Hussaini, my neighbor.
Thank you, the Chair and the President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. Good afternoon. I think I have some gaps, and I think from my explanation,
Senator Babangida Hussaini, you need to just move a motion for your additional prayer straight to your motion. Your mic, sorry.
is the Attorney General of the Federation should be urged to furnish the Senate details regarding the contract agreement signed by all the parties involved. Reason being that no...
It's okay. Seconder, please. Seconder. Senator Ningi, Abdul Ningi.
Senator Abdul Ningi, Bauchi Central. I rise to second the motion ably proposed by Senator Babangida.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? None. So thank you very much, the mover of this motion. Information, is it? Are you coming under any point of order? Any point of order? No. Okay, what's your information? Your information, just be brief.
Thank you very much, the Senate President, for this opportunity. My name is Garba Musa Maidoki, representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. Mr. Senate President, when the issue of insecurity was discussed in this Senate 2 days ago...
Sorry, we can't entertain that. Our party doesn't allow that. No, you come on the matter. You should approach me. Thank you very much, the mover of this motion. You brought forward something that is important to our country. But as I said, as we always say, we do not want to put the cart before the horse. When issues like this are brought forward, there's the need for proper investigation before the Senate takes a categorical stand through the acceptance of the entire Senate. So we allow due process to be followed, and whatever comes out of it, we hope it will benefit the whole country. So thank you very much. The Senate Leader. Okay, because that's an explanation. Okay.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 11th July 2023 at 11 a.m. 10 a.m.
Yeah. Okay, Manuel, can you second, please? Okay, wait. Just let me correct.
Say 10 a.m. So go by the rule.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I take it again that having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn to Tuesday, 11th July 2023 at 10 a.m. as contained in our rules. Thank you.
Yeah, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished senators. My name is Simon Mwadkon. I represent the people of Northern Plateau State. I wish to rise and second the motion ably moved by the Senate Leader that this House or the Senate hereby adjourn till Tuesday by 10 a.m. I so second.
Before I put the question, let me inform you that the President of the Senate could not attend today's proceeding because he has a very, very important meeting in the villa. That's why he could not make it to the Senate today. Having said so, let me put the question. If we'll all agree that this Senate stand adjourned as moved by the Senate Leader and seconded by the Minority Leader. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. And so, the Senate stand adjourned as moved and approved. Abi, I think it's okay like that.